What's up guys, and welcome to today's video on whether Google Ads is the best traffic source for e-commerce now in the end of 2018 and beyond that. So Google Ads luckily finally became a big topic in 2018. I've talked about it for so long now, and it's great to see that finally more people are using it, more other YouTubers are talking about it, and yeah, it's just awesome to see that more and more people use this channel. But I still get bombarded with questions like, is it the best source now? Is it better than Facebook? Is it better than influencers? It's very hard to generalize, but in this video I want to really give you like the final some final ideas and some final reasons whether Google Ads is great or the best, whatever. But I want to give you a good overview on what Google Ads does better than other channels, but also like the few negative aspects of Google Ads that I see. So it's a very strategic video. I want to give you the overview. Let's get started right away so that you know whether you should use Google Ads for your business or not. So first, let's have a look at those common e-com traffic sources, right? So Google Ads, definitely not the biggest one yet. We have Facebook, which almost everyone uses. We have Instagram. We have also influencers, which is this little icon here. And these other ones, like pretty much 95 or 99% of people use one of those traffic sources, right? And I want to talk about the issues of other traffic sources besides Google. Then I want to talk about Google and a little bit about the negative aspects of Google too. So when we look at Facebook, we have some very clear issues and disadvantages these days, which is why I believe people should start at least thinking about, using Google Ads as well. First of all, it's super unreliable these days. We all know that campaigns getting up and down and there are spikes, and it's very hard to be profitable in the long run. It's of course not impossible, but it's difficult. And the costs are rising quickly because it's one of the reasons, of course, it's that dropshipping is like that Facebook is like the most common dropshipping traffic source. And people have been using it all the time, right? So of course Facebook gets more expensive because more and more brands join it, and dropshipping is just like a certain percentage of that. But whenever you have like a common dropshipping item, whenever you want to sell like a new trend item, you always have competition that is selling this exact product already, and chances are that they are also using the same audiences. So the problem with Facebook is that you can find almost no product that is not already heavily advertised on Facebook. Now don't get me wrong, if you are creative, if you know how to create good video ads, etc., this can still be great. But I know for a fact that for those with a very small budget that can probably not create those amazing video ads, etc., it's very tough to get a foot in the door with Facebook and sell successfully. So I see a lot of people that fail here. Then there is issues with, canceled accounts, intransparency, ad accounts getting flagged for sometimes apparently no reasons. And it's very hard to build like a business in the long run when you almost always have to fear that something is happening, right? I had quite some luck so far. I never had an ad account shut down. I was never that super high volume spender, even though I had some clients in there, but my own ad account was never that huge on Facebook. But so far I was pretty lucky not getting something disabled, but I know from like dozens or even hundreds of people that had issues here. And generally they miss buying intent, right? So on Facebook you simply cannot, like on Google, say that people that look for one certain product should they should go ahead and just buy it from you, right? So on Facebook, you're always like interrupting people. Hey, you like pets? Here, buy my dog necklace or whatever. Or hey, do you like mobile phones? Here, buy my charger and something like that. So it's always like guessing the type of person and then coming up with a creative way to convince them to buy. Of course, that can work, and it can work very well. But the point is, if you want to have the lowest hanging fruit, you're not looking for those people that might eventually be interested in your items. You look for those that are already actively looking for products like yours. I mean, this makes the most sense, especially if your budget is limited. When we look at influencers, which I really like I work with influencers a lot, but they are not predictable. This is the bad thing, right? So you cannot go ahead and say, oh, today I want to spend exactly $100 and get like 300 clicks. This is not doable. So Facebook and Google are self-serving ad platforms where you can just go ahead and say, I need clicks now. I need more clicks on Black Friday. and do it like like your needs are right now. But with influencers, it's not possible. You always need to get new people into the pipeline. Also, it's a lot of manual work and tracking, so you cannot just say I need 1,000 clicks. You have to contact this person, then like 90% of them won't respond, and then you have to take it to the next step. You have to pay, you have to make sure that they actually post and things like that. It can get pretty messy. And even though I recommend it a lot, and I would definitely recommend to check influencer marketing out if you haven't already, use tools like Keepsy. I have a review about that on my channel, which makes it a little easier to find and track influencers. But the point is, it's not really the best way to only rely on influencers. So influencer marketing is great, but from my experience, relying only on that is quite difficult because you never bring in that stability into this whole process. And sometimes it can be heavily overpriced. Now, of course, if you find the right influencers, it's heavily underpriced. So it's basically the opposite. But many people these days charge really heavy sums to just feature you in a simple post or in your story, in their story, etc. So sometimes you really have to find these nuggets in there. So if you find a good one, you can really make a ton of sales with $100 or something. But if you have some bad luck, you pay someone a huge amount and they're not getting that much engagement, etc., then it doesn't work out. And then we have Reddit, something that I honestly never really used. I spent, I think, $50 on Reddit ads so far just to check out their platform. But people start to talk about this more and more, but I believe it's not that dedicated yet. So compared to Facebook and Google, where you have tons of options and optimization, etc., it's not that dedicated, and there are also very limited options and possibilities. So from what I've seen, and I'm definitely not an expert in Reddit ads, so don't get me wrong here, but you can target like subreddits, and you can talk a little bit about, you know, devices, but I think that's it from what I've seen and what I remember right now. But for me, it's not suited. If you have a store where you have a certain audience, where you have a certain type of people and you want to convert them, and you want to build a full retargeting funnel, etc., then I believe it's pretty hard, and you can hardly do that with Reddit. I may be wrong here. Let me know in the comments whether you actually used Reddit before or plan to do so, because it's quite interesting to see. But I have too little experience to talk about it, but I think it's not dedicated enough just yet. So this is then why you need Google Ads today. And don't worry, I will also talk about a few negative aspects of Google afterwards. So I don't want to like to talk you into this whole thing without looking at any of the negatives here. But still, I believe you should use Google Ads today because, first of all, it has the highest ROAS across all channels. So I've been in e-commerce for 4.5 or 5 years now, and besides my own business, I've worked with so many clients and so many people that I have a really good overview on like what works, right? So it's not just 3 stores or so, it's literally hundreds of stores. And right now in late 2018, the highest ROAS across all channels and students and clients that I have is clearly Google. So we have shopping, which has the highest ROAS normally, but the lowest volume. We have search, which tends to has the medium ROAS, but medium volume. And we have YouTube, which tends to have the lowest ROAS out of these 3, but the highest volume. Now, the thing is, these 3 can very quickly change. Let's say you have a great YouTube video, good targeting, you can literally get a tremendous ROAS. We had one in fact, we had several, but we had one YouTube campaign that was absolutely standing out, that was overperforming both shopping and search, with crazy ROAS and with crazy volume. So the point is, when you really optimize those videos, when you combine the perfect target audience with the perfect video, with the perfect product or landing page, you can get an insane ROAS with YouTube and a high volume at the same time, because YouTube is literally a channel where you can get hundreds of thousands of people still being relevant to your business. So it's absolutely amazing what you can do if you use all 3 and if you use them the right way. But it's really cool to see that all 3 of them work pretty well with e-commerce and dropshipping these days. Then you can get profitable campaigns up and running without tons of image and video creation. I know that people that, let's say someone who starts dropshipping, and let's say you have 20 products in your store and you want to test them on Facebook, you need images, you need videos, you need to do like the ad copy for all of these things, but especially those videos is what gets people mad and what makes people annoyed, that they have to create 10 videos now. Of course, there are tools to make this easy, and I also have this review on Clipman on my channel, which is a pretty great tool to make your videos. But still, you have to create video ads at scale, which can be difficult as a one-person business. So On Google Ads, you don't need any of those. So unless you use YouTube, you are perfectly fine with shopping and search, and you never have to create any video or super outstanding image while you can still convert a ton of visitors. At the same time, you have buying intent behind your searches. So what I just told you about Facebook ads, the problem with Facebook ads that you are basically targeting people that are not necessarily interested in what you have to offer. Now it's different. People look what they want to buy and you just give it to them. Now, of course, it sounds easier than it is. So you still need to apply all kind of strategies and methods, and there are different ways to attract people, and not everyone will buy something just because they looked for your product. But if you can improve your skills, if you get better at Google Ads and you get people to your site cheaper, you get more traffic, it's easier to test, it's easier to improve your site. And at some point you will realize that this buying intent is absolutely powerful, because once it's all set up and you create a new campaign with relevant keywords, etc., you can literally pour paying customers into your business without having to endlessly test all sorts of things first. So it's usually way quicker to find something that works on Google than it is on Facebook, for example. Also, there is very limited competition in many e-commerce niches. Now, of course, Google Ads is super huge, right? It makes more revenue than Facebook ads with advertising. But the point is, especially in those common dropshipping and small e-commerce niches, those super common products are not that competitive on Google Ads yet. So on Facebook, you will always find 200 other advertisers just selling your products. On Google Ads, that's definitely not the case. Of course, there are certain categories that are extremely competitive, but there are also many untapped niches, many common untapped e-commerce niches, literally products you can find on AliExpress, etc. And they can do very, very well on Google still to this day, even though more people start to use it now with every single day going by. And YouTube ads are super untapped. Like probably the most untapped category within Google Ads or YouTube ads. I almost always get YouTube ads for less than 1 cent per view, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's for e-commerce, whether it is for my service business, for the digital product stuff. I almost every time get YouTube ads for less than a cent, like between 0.2 and 1 cent per view, which is really low. And I get crazy engagement rates. So normally between 20 to 50% of people that get an impression are also watching the video for at least 30 seconds. And this is something that is totally unheard of on Facebook. If you create a Facebook ad campaign today in the United States, I think it will be very unlikely that you get a 30-second view for less than a cent out of the blue, right? It's almost impossible, I would say. So they are extremely untapped, and they are amazing to get by buying customers if you combine them with like in-market audiences and segmentation and testing, etc. I have a video about this on my channel as well. Won't go in depth with this here today, but YouTube ads are extremely powerful. So shopping and search are the lowest hanging fruits, but after that, if you have the capability to make some cool video ads, then YouTube can be your best friends, and you can literally convert way more people way cheaper than on Facebook. So this being said, what's not that great with Google Ads, right? I don't want to paint a wrong picture here. So first of all, there is a deep learning curve for some campaigns. It can be quite tricky going from Facebook, where everything is very visual and it's about, ads and people liking and sharing, to suddenly going to just reading data all the time and going with keywords and negative keywords and ad campaigns and all kind of extensions, and it's super data driven, etc. It can be quite overwhelming at first, especially because you have all these different ad products, right? Search, shopping, display, YouTube, and it can get confusing. And some niches are super competitive on Google Ads. So what I just told you, on the one hand, it's the advantage of Google that in general it's less competitive for the dropshipping e-commerce space. At the same time, there are some niches that are literally impossible to target. So I would say on Facebook it's in the middle. It's never like super competitive, and it's never almost no competition, right? So the competition is on a good level, but not in the extreme for one particular niche. On Google Ads, you literally have niches where you pay $3 for a click or something, and it's impossible to be profitable there. I don't have a really good example here because Lately, I didn't come across one of those niches in particular, but you know, there is more than enough stuff, especially in the cosmetics space, etc. I've worked with several cosmetics clients already. I never sold something cosmetics related myself, but I work with several cosmetics clients, and it's always getting super expensive. So for some niches, not cosmetics as a whole, but certain sub niches within cosmetics are super difficult, and that's just an example of multiple niches like these. So when should you use Google Ads now, right? You have all kind of input now, why they're cool, why they're in some ways not that great, but when should you use Google Ads? Well, first of all, if your niche is not totally saturated on Google. So use the Google Keyword Planner and find out what the competition, what the average click prices look like in your niche. And then doing that, you can find out whether Google is a good place to start. And I would say 80 to 90% of the cases, it's a good idea, because even if the click prices on Keyword Planner tend to be quite high, almost always with some creativity, some testing, some ad optimization, you can still get a really good price. But if you see it's totally ridiculous, and you see that it's starting at like $3, then it's pretty difficult to actually get it down to like 30 cents or so, if the minimum bid is already that high. So use the Google Keyword Planner and see whether your niche is valid there. The second is, if you want stable results more than like trends and spikes. So on Facebook, if you have a viral video, if you have a video that is going crazy, you can literally get like 3 million views, and you can make thousands of sales potentially with a video that goes through the roof. And of course, in this case, your ROAS can be absolutely insane. On Google, normally you don't get a campaign that takes off like this, but you have more stable results. So it's more about getting profitable early and then getting profitable for a long time. I've mentioned this several times on my channel. I'm actually managing campaigns that are insanely profitable for over a year now. And that's totally crazy, right? On Facebook, you never hear of a campaign that is running for a year and still running profitably without major changes. So Google Ads, if you want stable results, never something totally crazy from one day to another, but very steady, very constant, and just good to plan ahead, right? Also, if you didn't start yet, very simple, but if you join dropshipping now, if you build a new e-commerce business and everyone tells you to use Facebook, think about using Google from day one, because not only will you cut this learning curve if you look at it from like with fresh eyes and only use Google Ads at first, it's also like I said several times, the lowest hanging fruit, and getting familiar with it from the beginning on is definitely a great idea today if you haven't started yet. At the same time, if your Facebook campaigns are not producing ongoing ROI, of course, it's a good idea to test something else. I'm not saying, by the way, that Facebook ads is like bad, right? I'm still using them myself, and I don't know many people that are using Google ads without using Facebook ads at all. The point is, if your Facebook campaigns are not producing ongoing ROI that you are satisfied with, and you want more, and you want to more consistent sales, more profitable sales probably, then it's definitely time to check Google Ads out and also to give them a try and build a second source of visitors and income basically on Google Ads too. So now you are eager to go ahead with Google Ads, and there are 4 ways, step 1, 2, 3, 4, to get to the next level now and really kickstart your Google Ads knowledge. First of all, create a free Google Ads account today. Of course, very simple. Second, check the Google AdWords playlist on my channel. There are a ton of videos about Google Ads. You can learn a lot already, all kind of stuff. I recommend the Google AdWords. Actually, I have to rename it to the Google Ads playlist, but on there you can find dozens of videos about all kind of Google Ads topics. The oldest of them are literally 1.5 years old or something like that. So I've been talking about Google Ads for ages now. And start experimenting with a small $5 to $10 per day campaign, especially on search or shopping. So what I see is that many people, they see a new traffic source and they don't want to, they want to research for half a year before they get started, while in reality, just pour in like $5 to $10. If you run on a budget, do $5 at least to get familiar with the different mechanisms in there, like how to use keywords, how to use shopping ads, how to use negatives, etc. That way you can learn very fast, and at the same time you can still like watch videos and consume content, of course, but it's important that you don't just consume without applying that, because then you will forget a ton of things, you will not be able to actually make these connections. And then fourth, if you really want to get to the next level, I made it a little smaller than the rest because it's of course not mandatory, and I don't want to make this whole video just to like sell a training and say that you need this now. But if you want to like cut the curve, if you want to get everything presented in one training from A to Z, from starting to scaling and everything, then of course take a look at my eCom PPC Academy. At the moment of this video release, we are still running on the Black Friday discount, so now it's the perfect time to get in there as well. And this is like the fourth of these 4 steps. Optional, of course, if you say that it's totally fine for you to watch individual videos and to, you know, don't get anything, don't get everything that I basically have to offer, and especially on specific frameworks and very specific tactics, etc. Of course, you can go with the YouTube stuff. There's plenty of things in there. But if you want to take it to the next level, and if your budget allows it, and if you want to cut the curve and get results faster, etc., mastermind with other people in this space, then visit the eCom PPC Academy for even more kick-ass knowledge. So guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments whether you are using Google Ads already. I think if you are a viewer on this channel, probably you are, but let me know how they worked for you so far. Let me know whether you actually used them yet or not yet. Why not if you didn't? And yeah, just your plans with Google Ads in the future. Also, let me know if you have any other questions that I may address in another video. And else, I hope that you subscribe to this channel to see more content like this. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And of course, as I said, if you want to take your eCom Google Ads skills to the next level, visit the eCom PPC Academy for our Black Friday sale. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you liked it, and I will hopefully see you in the next video again. Bye bye.